Book 1, Bazur's Plot. Chapter 36, White Goddess Palace. We started to walk to the great hall together. It was mostly white stone, the whole palace. It was really a big palace. There were all kinds of creatures running back and forth carrying food or something else. One of them stopped after spotting us and said, "Hey, you're here. Come this way, this way, this way, this way." We tried to keep up after her. She was very speedy in her tiny posture, and it took so much to keep up with her. The great hall had two big wooden doors, all wide open, and the first look was priceless toward the great hall. Obviously, the rescued creatures needed to be somewhere, since many of them were still weak. So they had actually turned the great hall into some sort of hospital with all kinds of beds and hammocks hanging everywhere. There was a table in the middle with all kinds of drinks and foods that one could think of eating. White Goddess was also tending to creatures in her silvery, translucent white clothes. She looked even brighter than Tora, shining light everywhere. I looked at Tora. "Are you her son?" Tora nodded. "Yes, I am White Goddess's son. That makes me White God, and Papa Goddess is my grandpapa." I was baffled. I did not know what to say. Tora continued. "Let's focus on the task, okay?" I nodded. Tora led us toward the end of the great hall where White Goddess was tending to something. Tora spoke. "White Goddess, I have here the rescue team. We just arrived and brought some new rescues with us. The village on the south and the road up to the palace is now covered." White Goddess turned around and she almost took my breath away. Oh, she's just amazing. She just had energy that I felt loved instantly. She was shining white light around her, but not too bright or in a disturbing way. More, it felt like one was getting hugged by a mother, even standing meters away. I felt like she was just spreading love around. She was smiling very wide. "More rescues? Amazing! We will make room for them." I looked around. Rescues were literally side by side in this great hall, and it was massive. It was bizarre to think that Jack and I had helped each of them. Really humbling, actually. I looked at Jack. Clearly he was thinking similarly, since his cheeks were burning red and he was looking around in puzzled face expression. White Goddess signaled to someone, and there were a few creatures going to meet the latest rescues that were coming from the front doors right now. White Goddess signaled to us to follow her to a small door at the left. It was a tiny door at the end of the hall that really was not noticeable before she opened it herself and went through. Just before she stepped into the doorway, she looked behind us and signaled to someone. I could not see who, but I would probably find out soon. We stepped into a dark room that few lamps were only lit, very dimly, and there were like reading lights. It looked like a library that one would have seen in movies or old palaces. It had a lot of books, lots of lovely chairs and couches to lounge on. And once the door closed behind us, one could not hear a thing from the great hall. It was super quiet. White Goddess said, "I have you guys sleep here for the night, but now we go meet our crew." She led us forward until we came to what looked like a small door on the other side of the room, leading to an area like a terrace outside. It was a little bit like courtyard opening to the backyard, and it was like ending all the way to the woods. I could see fruit trees full of fruits in the season, a lot of sofas, couches, hammocks, you name it. I could see all of our capritors and moorbears there. It was like seeing old friends. We hugged, and it was so good to see them all. A little sarcastic, maybe, since we rarely actually saw any of the capritors. But we knew they were close. It was so good to see them, even though it had been such a little while since we had separated. It was clear they had been eating a lot and resting to get back into shape. Garnock said, "Great, you're here all now. I'm so ready to get started again. I needed this, but let's go." Everyone laughed. White Goddess spoke. "Garnock, it is good that you're rested and fed, but these guys are not. You will continue early tomorrow morning. Tonight we will still have dinner together and rest. Also, you need to be catched up about what Sarah and Jack found." Curious eyes were meeting mine and Jack's, and everyone got closer to be able to hear all. White Goddess led us to a big seating area, where I guess palace workers brought food just for us now. My stomach made grumbling noise, very loudly. I was not the only one. Dora, Tara, Jack, and I, and all the underground elves were right on my heels, heading straight to the food. I said, "I'm sorry, I'm just going to eat right now." White Goddess nodded. "Yes, that is the plan. Go ahead." I sat down with the big plate of food and just loved again how good the food was here. Fairy's nectar was even tastier and sweeter today. I looked around after a while and I saw 3 myriads had joined us. I guess those were the ones White Goddess signaled to follow us. Capritors and moorbears were looking at myriads but did not ask questions. They knew all would be explained in a second. At least I hoped so. Dora and Tara were normally taking care of the leading, speaking, planning, so I just ate my plate and waited. I ate my last bit and felt like exploding, but so happy. I looked around and saw happy faces all around. It was good to have a great feast like this after a hard day. I asked Jack, "How you feeling?" Jack said, "Yeah, I have learned well to balance my energy. I feel just having another plate, but I'm super full. I need to balance the food better. Food is amazing here in Myria." I smiled and said, "I know, I'm about to burst, but my eyes could eat another plate, my stomach not." The creatures around us smiled. Tara stood up. "Okay, so while you two are thinking about eating more, we need to catch up with everyone. So here are our rescue crew, capritors who scout for us so that we are kept safe. Here are the moorbears, who are muscle protection, but most importantly speedy transport for awakened ones to their homes to recover fully. The creatures don't know where they go, since almost every Myria tribe has moved to a hidden location after Bazur started this 2 years ago. The attempt to take over the whole Myria and get rid of White Goddess. Myriads gasped in shock. Tara continued. Then we have our 2 humans, Sarah and Jack, who are undoing the curses for us. They were taught by seafarer who helped to figure out the correct uncursing method in the south second woods. Myriads gasped again, and one of them said, "Really? Hermit seafarer?" Tara continued. Then the very important part of the team are these underground elves medics, Sylvester, Eloven, Tim and Tom. And Tora and I have been helping from the beginning. There are also multiple supporters in addition to seafarer, such as underground elves elders, Myria's elders, including Elderberg and others. Not forgetting, of course, White Goddess herself. Just when she said that, we heard Flickfingolking screech from the sky. Feather Dance and Severin landed in front of Tara gracefully. Tara continued without missing a beat. Great timing. And of course we have our fairy transport with our lovely members, Flickfingolkins, Feather Dance and Severin. Now she turned to White Goddess and continued. Thank you for calling also our Myriath representative to our meeting. Capritors were humming. Capriera and Stico stepped forward. Are you really Myriaths? You have disappeared centuries ago.